Guilt is about feeling horrible about something that you did. Shame is about feeling horrible about who you are.
Thanks for listening to Guidance in Recovery. I'm Keegan Read, and every week I speak with guests to honestly explore recovery, sobriety, the struggles that come with it, and find things that help us in our recovery journeys. On today's episode, we're speaking to Amy Vincze. She is a certified tapping coach and the visionary founder of the Soar with Tapping app. We're speaking about chakras and the shadows that they can carry and how we can move through them to actually better ourselves. How are you doing today? And what's a hill that you're willing to die on whenever it comes to tapping?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's great to be here. Thank you for having me again. It's good to see you again. A hill that I'm willing to die on for tapping is just about any hill. It truly is. I've had so much transformation in my life because of this tool. I use it on absolutely everything, including my pets, with success. And there's just nothing that scares me about it. There's only good to be gained in this arena, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think you could present something to me that I would be like, nope, can't do it.
So there's nothing bad with this whole tapping thing. You're saying that no one's going to really regress into like a trauma or something?
I think you can go a little bit too fast with trauma sometimes. Sometimes people really need a very slow approach. Like sometimes if it's really intense, we can start with the trauma like in a vault on the other side of the city or something like that. And then once your number gets down to a 0, when it's over there, then we bring it a little closer. And then when maybe it's in the house, and then you open the door. So it just depends on the person. Because some people are just willing to go there right away, but only the individual person can know that about themselves, what they're willing to do.
Gotcha. So real quick, whenever it came to tapping and trying to figure out how far you're willing to go with certain subjects, what's one of the things that someone needs to look out for whenever they're exploring an uncomfortable emotion?
Oh, let's see. Well, is this a good time to get into the chakras already?
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Have you already like gone over all of this stuff with your listeners at any point, or should I kind of give everybody a bit of an education about chakras?
I mean, everyone's got a slightly different viewpoint on chakras from my understanding, so it's going to be better if we get Amy's idea of chakras and how they work and how they are incorporated with tapping as well.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to reference a book here just in case your listeners want to delve more into it, because this, it's backwards. It's called Eastern Body, Western Mind by Anodea Judith. And it's like the Bible for chakras, basically. And I'll just give you kind of the standard version of chakras and my understanding of what they correspond to as far as different areas of your life, different emotions, and then different organs and systems in the body.
Okay.
So the first chakra is otherwise known as the root chakra, which is in the general vicinity of the tip of your tailbone. There are other people that like to focus on the glands. And so there's a gland that's right in between like your perineum and your tailbone, so kind of right in that area. But if you're focusing, it's the general area, it's fine. And that area tends to focus on feelings of belonging, feelings of community, feeling like you're safe. It corresponds to bigger systems in the body, like our immune system, often our skin, like bigger muscles and sometimes bones, that sort of thing. So bigger systems in the body. Blood is one of the ones that's covered with the first chakra. So if you have any disorders in any one of those things, the first chakra is where you want to look, definitely. And then the shadow that each chakra has a shadow. They have kind of a lightness and then they have a shadow. So the lightness of the first chakra is community and belonging and all of those wonderful things and the physical body. And then the shadow side is fear. So it's important mostly to work through all of your fears. Those are generally held in that first chakra area. And it's not just fears like, fear of heights or fear of spiders or something along those lines. It's really goes a lot deeper than that. It's like fear that you don't belong and fear that of abandonment or rejection or fear that you're not enough, like just really big kind of meaty heart of every single issue type of fears.
Yeah.
So that's actually where I like to start. A trauma lives there,
Okay.
as you can probably imagine. And that's where I like to start with my clients because that is usually at the core of every single issue, whether it's physical or emotional that people are experiencing. It's fear. And you can't really have great success if you start with other chakras, like maybe even the third or fourth or fifth. Everybody likes to focus on the heart chakra because it's so, love, love, love. or like the third eye chakra because it's so sexy. Everybody wants to have their intuition. But really, if you don't focus in on the fear, everything else will suffer as a result. It's like trying to build a house or a multi-level building on a shaky foundation. Like you just can't do it. Like you need to have that solid base. And that's why it's important, really important to start with the first chakra.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, and you also said something that I've tried to do before too, like, oh, let me work on the heart. I want to love other people better. I want to love myself more. But if I'm sitting there and everything is still operating in fear, then that's not how love works.
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, all of our human problems that we tend to have are mostly centered down in chakras 1, 2, and 3. So if you work through those, the rest of them kind of take care of themselves a little bit. So it's really important to focus our energy down in the first 3 chakras as we're doing the bulk of our healing.
Okay.
So most important, start with number 1.
Gotcha.
And I'm going to say this too, you're going to be dealing with your fears in layers because you will get to a point where you feel like I'm not afraid of anything. And then you kind of expand into the space that you've created for yourself by clearing some fears out. And then as you expand, you're going to bump up against your own boundaries again with fear. And so then you'll need to clear another layer and then you can expand even more into the person that you are supposed to be. And it just kind of keeps happening that way. So we're never done with this work as much as I would love to be. We just never arrive. We just continue to, it gets easier and easier as it goes, but we never really arrive at a destination point with it. So first chakra is shadow is fear that we need to work through. The second chakra, sacral chakra, is all about our relationship to different things in the world. So it's our relationship with other people. It's our relationship with money, our relationship with creativity, sexuality, all of those things. And with all the chakras, it's really important to have a balance between power and vulnerability. And especially in the second chakra, this is where people with addiction, maybe a lot of your listeners, this is generally where they're going to spend the bulk of their time. So definitely fears first, always fears first. But then the bulk of their time is going to be spent in the sacral chakra, kind of balancing out between power and vulnerability in all of these areas. Yeah. So the the light part of it is, being able to have that balance between power and vulnerability. Like, you can comfortably be in a place of um, stating your needs and desires, but you can also be really vulnerable by letting somebody else lead sometimes, because both are necessary in partnerships and in life.
Mm-hmm.
But the shadow side is guilt. And guilt is the
Ooh.
thing that needs to be worked through in the second chakra. So if you have guilt about what you do or don't do sexually, if you have guilt about what you do or don't do in a relationship, or you do or don't do with money, these are really big issues that most
Mm-hmm.
people find themselves either lacking in, or they just go overboard with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all about finding that balance and ridding yourself of guilt. So
Huh.
the goal is to be unapologetic about whether or not cry at sad movies or sad situations, and unapologetic about asking for a big raise, you know, something along those lines. So it
Uh-huh.
really is about being able to kind of just be whoever you are without an apology in any way, shape, or form, and know that you have strengths and you have weaknesses, and everybody does, and that doesn't make you feel like less of a person in any way.
Yeah.
So that's the
Ooh.
goal with the second chakra.
Okay.
Okay,
Huh.
so third chakra. Do you have any questions about that one?
Well, that one's kind of interesting because I didn't really realize that it was so tied to relationships and like creativity and stuff as well.
Hmm.
And it was interesting too because whenever you first said like the power versus vulnerability aspect, part of me was like, okay, so the power is the light, the vulnerability is the shadow, but it's not that way.
No, it's
And
easy to judge that, right? Like, that's what
uh-huh.
we assume. We don't always want to be in the power mode at all. That is not
Mm-mm.
balance. That is not
No.
balance. So
Uh-uh.
I totally get that. I think that that's probably a common misconception about
Mm-hmm.
what it should look like. And I think
Mm.
that we're kind of fed an idea by our culture about what is acceptable and what isn't. And in our culture, vulnerability is not acceptable in most ways.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
so that's why you would automatically consider it a shadow, but it's not.
Mm-hmm. And the whole society thing being like, all right, we have to be in charge of our lives. It's like, no, there's some things that I'm definitely not in charge of. And I just have to kind of go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Huh. Okay. So, man, that's interesting. And so with the chakras, they really go from bottom up, not top down.
When you are working through trauma
Hmm.
and disempowering beliefs, issues with your body, that's just
Hmm.
the place that you should start.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So second chakra organs are all reproductive organs, and also lower back. Like, a lot of people have lower back pain. They probably feel really vulnerable around money.
Hmm.
And so that's an area to focus on. Like I mentioned, it's also heavily associated with addiction, food addiction, any kind of addiction,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean that one's kind of weird too because in the whole healing journey, it's definitely the root and sacral I can tell are integral in healing all that because one, you need community of some sorts, at least connection with yourself up foremost, and then you also have to be vulnerable to heal, and you have to be willing to do this kind of stuff. And if
Yeah.
we're like running in that fear mode, if we're sitting there and isolating and just wanting to be disconnected, then there's no real hope of actually getting out of addiction. So that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Kind of blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real revelation when you think of it in those terms.
Hmm. Yeah. And also, whenever before we got started recording, I had a moment where I was getting overstimulated, and I was like, I just wish my skin would stop touching the air. whenever you said the root chakra. I was like, huh, I wonder if I'm anticipating a package coming in, and it's like I wonder if I'm just so like shooken by that my root chakra is just like, all right, everything just stop, just don't touch nothing. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very
Being
strange.
pulled in too many different directions can get you dysregulated too. It doesn't take much, right?
No.
Right. Yeah. So third chakra, solar plexus, is
Hmm.
kind of right if you where your ribs come together.
Hmm.
It's right underneath that spot, like just below your ribs, right there.
Okay.
And that is all associated with our complete digestive system.
Mm.
So other than like the sigmoid colon, which is down at the very bottom, it's basically mouth to lower intestine.
Mm. Okay.
So if you
Hmm.
have any kind of like people with Crohn's or even like food sensitivities or colitis, even constipation, those type of
Hmm.
things, that's this is an area that you're going to want to focus on. Indigestion, whatever it is.
Huh.
Um, and this area is all about our sense of self. Um, on the power side, it's being willing to be seen out in the world, being willing to kind of have people see all of our good and bad aspects of
Hmm.
ourselves. And on the vulnerability side, it's about feeling shame about who we are.
Mm.
So, just to make it that distinction between guilt and shame, guilt is about feeling horrible about something that you did. Shame is about feeling horrible about who you are.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's a big distinction.
Yes, yes. And that's a very big deal. And people with a lot of trauma, especially like sexual trauma, women with sexual trauma, often have
Mm.
significant problems in their solar plexus or in their digestive system because they feel so much shame around the aspect of their trauma.
Mm. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And oof. So, uh, what's the shadow aspect of the solar plexus?
It's the shame. It's shame.
Oh, it is a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the
Ooh.
thing that you want to focus on with your tapping.
Mm.
So it would be shame about, anytime, a lot of times there's perfectionism and
Hmm.
or people pleasing. And so there's shame if you don't do that. There's shame if you're not perfect, shame if you make a mistake, shame if you have an addiction that you don't want people to see. I mean, there's just a million things to feel shameful about. And those all need to be neutralized with tapping in order to achieve really good balance and in your chakra, in your solar plexus.
Mm. Okay. Ooh, that makes a lot of sense. And oh man, that's interesting to me because whenever I think about like showing up for myself, I always kind of get that feeling right there where it's almost like butterflies in the
Mhm,
stomach, but it's not quite butterflies in the stomach, and it's
mhm,
like
mhm.
part of me is like it's recognizing that, oh, I'm having to be seen, and a lot of me is like, hey, I don't want to be seen because the last time I was seen bad things happen.
Right,
So
right. Super
huh.
risky, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. It feels so scary. I totally went through this when I was, in the place where I had to start marketing my business and my app and I didn't like you. I don't want people to see me. I don't want to be in the spotlight at all. And I had to work through that a lot. Work through that
Hmm.
fear of people seeing the fact, probably the fact that I am not perfect. And I do have issues, even with
Hmm.
all of the tapping that I do. It's still just, something that um, I want to keep private. I don't want anybody to see it.
Yeah.
Even though I have so much compassion and empathy for other people when they feel that way, I don't seem to have it for myself a lot of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the solar plexus, I guess, whenever you work on that, it's being able to show compassion for yourself too.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I actually think that we should come first in all of these things.
Mm.
we should come first. Like if we're going to work on your heart chakra, I think you have to work on loving you first before you can work on giving it away to other people. You have to work on having compassion and even a measure of pride in who you are.
Ooh,
Yeah,
pride.
I
That's a tough one.
know. I know. It almost sounds like arrogance to us who struggle with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but again, there should be a balance.
Moving forward to number 4, correct?
Do the heart chakra. Yeah.
Ooh.
The one that people love, love, love to work on because I want to feel more love too.
Uh-huh.
Totally do. That is definitely the power side. And being able to kind of the power side of that is being able to reach for what you want, reach for love and know that you deserve it. And then the shadow side is the inner critic that tells you that you don't deserve it.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is and grief, there's a lot of grief that around that. There's so much deep sadness that's associated or that's just underneath the surface of that inner critic. And that is the true shadow, but it's the inner critic that prevents us from reaching it and having compassion for ourselves. So we have to work through that inner critic first. And it is literally the harshest shadow that we have in all of the chakras is that inner critic. And yeah, it's so noisy and bitchy. Yeah, I know. And it does some serious damage.
Yeah, it really does. And it's interesting too because I've spoken to Emma Lyons and she talks how our inner critic is really just inner shame. And it's just essentially like an inner narcissist of sorts. And whenever we spoke, it really just made a lot of sense. And I was like, oh, okay. And so whenever I've kind of taken that angle of like, okay, so this is more of someone else put this programming in me to shame myself for things that I feel or did or so on and so forth and how I view myself, it's really like changed the game on healing because I can not sit there and be as harsh anymore. I can sit there and kind of change the angle of like, okay, well, this is how I think or this is how I feel, and that's just kind of what it is. Like I can
Mm-hmm.
explore that
Mm-hmm.
for sure, but I don't have to beat myself up for just having a feeling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
They're so closely intertwined. Like in the minute you feel that shame, then the inner critic gets triggered and starts telling you you're a POS.
yeah.
So, but if you can see how if you work through the shame in your solar plexus, then the inner critic doesn't have any ammunition
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore. Like
Uh-huh.
there's nothing there for it to latch onto and dig its claws in and yeah, and do damage.
Yeah.
So
Huh. Ooh. Okay. So the shadow of the heart is the inner critic. Got it.
inner critic, and
Oof.
below that is a really deep-seated grief, like really
Mm-hmm.
such deep, heartbroken sadness over the disconnection that creates in our heart
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves, to being
Mm-hmm.
able to love ourselves, but also the disconnection that it creates in our relationships because it's almost impossible to love somebody else when you don't love yourself. It's just really hard. It's
Yeah.
more performative at that point because not a real um, authentic love. I'll just
Mm-hmm.
say it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know whenever I was on that spectrum of stuff, that performative love also did come back to the inner critic being like, oh, well, now you can feel guilty for this
Right.
because it's not all there. And I was like, damn it. I thought I'm doing the right thing.
It's never ending. Oh, I totally know what you mean. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's brutal. So not only is it the organs, it's not only is it the heart, but it's also the lungs, um, upper shoulders and arms. So
Mm.
like if you're having a lot of tension in your upper shoulders and stuff like that, it's usually has to do more with like anger and resentment, but it's about anger and resentment that other people have something that you don't, sort of thing.
Mm.
the ability to love
Ooh.
themselves, the ability to ask for what they need, the ability to like do things
Mm.
that we ourselves want to do and don't feel entitled to it because we don't
Oh,
love ourselves enough.
yeah. Self advocacy. That's
Yes.
a really hard lesson to learn.
Yes. Yes,
Ugh,
it is.
damn.
I know.
And I guess that would go right up next to the throat chakra, right?
Yeah.
Is that next?
Throat chakra is next. And as you can imagine, the throat chakra is all about power side is truth, and then lies is the shadow. And
Mm.
you might think that it's really obvious what the lies would be, lying to other people. Um, but it really is much more about the lies that we tell ourselves about what's really going on for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a great example. Most women that have a lot of our moms, they take care of other people a lot. They have a lot of people pleasing tendencies, that sort of thing. They will deny to the end that they have needs.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody has needs. And invariably, those women struggle with slow thyroid.
Huh.
So our thyroid glands are very much associated with the throat chakra. Obviously, if you have any problems speaking or you know anything happening in that area, it would also be associated with the throat chakra. But the thyroid is also a big portion of that.
Huh.
So the shadow to work through there is the lies that we tell other people. Definitely, we don't want to tell mistruths to other people, but the ones that we tell ourselves are the ones that are the hardest to swallow.
Mm. Yeah.
This is
And
also kind of the area where the our outer world connects with our inner world. So it's
mm,
our ability, this is our ability to release emotions that have plagued us for a long time. So speaking them out loud actually helps to release them from our body. Um, and being able to speak our truth, like if we're really angry about something, being able to say it is a very cathartic thing for somebody that has blockages in their throat chakra.
mm,
So it's all about kind of speaking our truth, what we're
mm.
really feeling, what we really want, all of those things.
Ooh, okay. I love that. And I mean, like you said, some of the truths or some of the lies that we tell ourselves are the hardest ones to kind of overcome. And you know that saying that to tell a good lie, you have to believe it. Well, I don't know about you, but I believed every time I said I wasn't worth the damn or this, that, or another. And so all those
Right?
other shadow chakras, yeah, oof, ouch,
Yeah.
damn.
I know. I know. But then again, I'm just gonna go back to this because this is the thing that gives me hope. You work through fear and you work through guilt and you work through shame, and then there's hardly anything there other than um, an old pattern maybe that you need to let go of to
Mm,
be able to speak your truth without fear, without guilt, and without feeling shame about whatever your truth is.
mm,
So
huh.
it's just a matter then of changing a pattern for yourself and, going outside of your comfort zone a little bit to try something new and
Uh-huh.
actually speak your truth to safe people, not, you don't need to go with a megaphone out there. Um, but
Yeah.
so working on that alone sometimes can feel really overwhelming, working on whatever the issue is for the throat chakra. But you've already worked through the majority of it if you've gone through chakras 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
S-
Yeah.
So that's good
Huh.
news.
Yeah, that is good news. And what is that saying that you have to really air your grievances to kind of get them out of you anyways? Uh
Absolutely. Absolutely. Air all the feelings, all the
mm.
fear, all the guilt, all the shame, all the joy when there's a part of you that thinks you shouldn't feel joy or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Grief, yeah, all of it.
Huh.
Being able to talk through it, get rid of it, which
Mm.
is why just having a friend that you can talk to can be such a huge help in
Mm-hmm.
times of struggle.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh. So I think that one I still kind of need to work on a little bit myself. But
Me too.
anyways.
Me too. Yeah. So the next chakra is our
Okay.
third eye chakra. And this is where most people associated with it. Dr. Joe Dispenza will tell you that it's the pineal gland, which is kind of right at the top of your spine and the kind of at the base of your skull and the top of your spine meets, kind of right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all about intuition, imagination, ability to dream, ability to kind of maybe see stuff that isn't necessarily there, to see the reality, which isn't always just the physical world.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you listened to the telepathy tapes by any chance? It's a podcast.
I've heard of it, but I have not listened myself.
Okay, the telepathy tapes are just a great example of a really powerful third eye chakra, because there's all of these kids with autism, and I won't go too deeply into it, but they have the extraordinary ability to communicate with people telepathically.
Huh.
And it's because their light body is so disconnected from their physical body. Most of us are so grounded in the physical world, it's hard to imagine the lightness and the spirituality aspect of things sometimes. But they're so connected to spirituality that they have trouble having control over their physical body. But they have this amazing ability to have telepathic communication with people that they're closest to. It's really cool.
Huh.
It's really cool.
That is really cool.
Thank you for watching part 1 with Amy Vince. Be sure to stick around for part 2 as we finish talking about the chakras, their shadows, and how we can move through all that with tapping to make ourselves even better.